Discover how one woman's heartwarming deception revealed amazing love in just 30 days. In Maplewood, where gossip traveled faster than the wind, Clara felt the weight of every sideways glance and whisper. This quaint town, where the bakery smelled of fresh bread and children played in sunlit yards, often drew a line between the haves and the have-nots. Clara, a 30-year-old single mother, was firmly in the latter category, working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. Her 11-year-old son, Ethan, bore the brunt of her struggles, facing bullying at school that only twisted Clara's heart like a vice. Each day, she juggled shifts at the local diner and the convenience store, her dreams of a better life for Ethan flickering more dimly than the neon sign outside that diner. She wanted so much for him, but found herself choked by the judgment of the townsfolk. They were well-meaning, perhaps, but their opinions often felt like heavy chains around her legs, dragging her down. Then one Friday evening, Clara stumbled upon an advertisement in the town's tiny newspaper, the 30-Day Love Challenge. The initiative promised connection and community, a spark of hope flickering like the last embers of her fading dreams. Excited, she filled out the application, yet as the ink dried on the paper, doubt began to creep in like a shadow. How could she join an event celebrating love when she felt defeated, lost in a world of scarcity? Determined to mask her truth, Clara crafted a facade of affluence. She didn't want to be seen as a struggling single mother, she wanted to fit in, be accepted, and find love. Fate paired her with Jack, a charismatic local businessman whose family legacy was steeped in wealth and expectations. Clara felt a spark during their first encounter. His laugh was infectious, and when he smiled, the world seemed brighter. Their connection blossomed, moments of laughter and shared dreams offering a warm refuge from her daily struggles. Yet the illusion she created hung precariously over their budding romance, a tightrope walk without a safety net. Each beautiful moment was shadowed by the weight of her untruth, especially as Ethan's battles with bullying intensified, gnawing at her spirit. One evening, as she tucked Ethan into bed, he pulled her close and whispered, "Mom, does it hurt to be different?" Her chest tightened, she had to fight the urge to cry. A surprise hug from him fueled her resilience, but Clara felt a nagging fear intensifying within her. Then came the day of the community picnic, a gathering full of hope and warmth, but for Clara, it was a battlefield. Families gathered, laughter ringing out like music. She stood, her heart racing, the sundresses and smiles around her contrasting sharply with her own feelings of inadequacy. What if exposing her truth meant losing everything she had with Jack? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Clara's thoughts spiraled, an unexpected incident sent a ripple through the crowd, gasping as secrets spilled into the open. Fear clutched at her heart, a truth waiting to be uncovered. Would acceptance follow, or rejection? In that moment, the weight of her lie seemed unbearable, but the flicker of hope shone brighter too. Clara's choice loomed overhead, and as the energy of the picnic pulsed with excitement, she was left grappling with the ultimate question: would she dare to step into the light, risking everything for the chance at true love and belonging? The crowd around Clara shifted as the unexpected incident unfolded. Gasps and whispers rippled through the picnic's atmosphere like a sudden gust of wind. She caught snippets of conversations, a mix of confusion and suspicion that stung her ears. The laughter that had filled the air moments before had been replaced with unease. Jack stood nearby, his brow furrowing as he tried to make sense of what was happening. Clara's heart raced, each beat echoing the anxious pounding of her thoughts. This was the moment where she could either seize her chance to reveal the truth or continue to hide behind her fabricated life. For a split second, she glanced at Jack. His warm eyes, once filled with admiration, now looked confused. The connection they had felt fragile, teetering on the brink of collapse. "Mom, what's going on?" Ethan's small voice broke through her whirlwind of thoughts. She turned, seeing him standing there, his innocent blue eyes wide with concern. It was in that moment that she felt the full weight of her choices. How could she teach him about honesty and acceptance when she was standing in a web of her own deceit? Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted Clara's name. She turned slowly, her heart in her throat. It was Emma, her neighbor, who had always been supportive. But her voice now carried an edge of accusation. Clara! Is it true? You've been pretending? The collective gaze of the crowd fell upon her, like a spotlight cutting through the dark. The colors of the picnic, bright reds, yellows, and greens, seemed to dim in comparison to the warmth of their scrutiny. Silence blanketed the atmosphere, and time felt as if it had paused, leaving only Clara and the truth hanging in the air. Emma, Clara stammered, feeling her hands shake. Just tell us. A voice called out from the back. It was Michael, one of the local fathers. Clara had always known the townsfolk viewed her with skepticism, but today, the judgments felt sharper than knives. With a deep breath, Clara summoned every ounce of courage. Yes, I've been pretending, she confessed, her voice shaking but steadying with each word. I'm a single mother. I've struggled. I wanted to fit in. A hushed murmur spread among the crowd, eyes darting between her and Jack. Time seemed to surge back to life as the looks of disbelief shifted to empathy and understanding. Clara felt a wave of relief wash over her, mixing with the dread of vulnerability. Jack stepped forward, his expression softening. You weren't alone, Clara. We all have our struggles. I never cared about wealth. I liked you for you. The warmth in his voice reminded her that love was not just about status but about connection, something she had overlooked in her fear. Clara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. This was her truth. It was flawed but real. It was scary but necessary. Ethan stepped closer, holding on to her hand tightly. Mom, I think it's brave, he said, his voice steady. A wave of pride surged through Clara, blessed with her son's unwavering support when she had feared losing him the most. The crowd began to shift again, murmurs of understanding and nods of acceptance replacing the previous tension. Clara's heart raced, but this time, it buzzed with hope. Can we start over? She whispered to Jack, the sincerity of her heart laying bare in those words. He nodded, a smile breaking through the gravity of the moment. Let's take it one day at a time. As the sun began to lower in the sky, painting everything in hues of gold, it felt as if the town of Maplewood had shifted with her. The gossip and judgment might linger, but perhaps beneath them lay something stronger: community, compassion, and the chance for a brighter tomorrow. But just as Clara began to embrace this new chapter, another voice broke in, one filled with rage and resentment. This can't be true. You don't really belong here, Clara. Clara froze, recognizing the tension rising again. The challenge wasn't over, it had only just begun. She swallowed hard, ready to face whatever was thrown at her next, knowing that the fight for acceptance and love in Maplewood would take all of her courage. Thus, the momentum of change surged within her, a revelation just waiting to unfold. The crowd shifted as Clara's heart raced once more. The sharpness of that voice cut through the tentative acceptance like glass, leaving behind jagged edges of doubt. Who are you to say I don't belong? Clara's voice rose instinctively, fueled by adrenaline and fear. She scanned the sea of familiar faces, searching for a hint of support. It felt like being on stage with the spotlight glaring down, yet the audience suddenly turned hostile. I've lived here just as long as you have, Clara. Sarah, a woman from the next block, stepped forward. Her arms were crossed defiantly. You may think you can just waltz in, put on a show, and pretend to be someone you're not. Ethan's small hand squeezed hers even tighter. Clara could feel his tiny fingers trembling, mirroring her own struggle. Mom, are you okay? He whispered, concern etched on his face. His innocence was a soft reminder of why she had fought so hard for acceptance in the first place. With a shaky exhale, Clara stood tall, determination replacing fear. I never meant to deceive anyone, she said, meeting Sarah's fierce gaze. I was scared. Scared of being judged, of being alone, of not being enough. A ripple of surprise echoed in the crowd. Perhaps they hadn't expected honesty. Perhaps they were all longing for it. Jack stepped closer, his presence a steady anchor amidst the storm. "We all wear masks, Clara," he said softly, his voice cutting through the tension. "But the real courage is in taking them off." Sarah's expression softened as she met Jack's earnest gaze. "But how can we know this is real?" she shot back, her voice tinged with skepticism. "You've had us fooled." Clara swallowed hard, the lump in her throat almost suffocating. "I know I've made mistakes," she began, her words gaining strength. "But I want to be real with all of you. I want to fix this together." "But it's going to take more than words, Clara," someone chimed in from the back, his arms crossed, glaring suspiciously. "Actions speak louder than excuses." Clara felt her resolve wobble momentarily. Yes, actions. She thought about what this would mean, how her world could change. "Okay, what do you want me to do?" she asked, the challenge hanging in the air. "Prove it," Sarah said simply. "Show us who you really are without the charade." A low murmur spread among the crowd, eyes narrowing as they weighed her question. Clara felt an invisible wall of support and pressure merging together. What did proving herself mean? What would it take for them to believe in her? "Let us start with a community project," Jack suggested, his tone composed. "An event to raise awareness or help someone in need. Something real, something unguarded. This is about showing we're all in this together." Ethan's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can we do that? Can we help people?" he chirped, the joy in his voice pulling at Clara's heart. "Yes, let us help," she said, the words spilling out before she had time to think. Maybe this was what she had needed all along, a chance to reconnect through shared experiences. "I'll do it. I will help organize everything." A new sound of acceptance spread through the crowd, a ripple of curiosity and willingness to engage. Fresh determination mingled with hope in Clara's heart. She could turn this around. But before she could breathe easy, Sarah nodded slowly, considering Clara's words. "You know, you might just need someone to help you with that," she said. "You'll need someone who knows how to arrange it all." "Are you offering to help me?" Clara asked, her eyes searching. Sarah smirked. "Not entirely sure. Let us see what you're made of first." The crowd's energy shifted, and Clara sensed an unexpected support brewing. Perhaps she was beginning to find her place, brick by brick. As the sun slipped further behind the horizon, casting deeper shadows, Clara's heart beat steadily, filled with an uneasy blend of excitement and fatigue. She had stepped into the light. Now, she just had to demonstrate her resolve. But deep down, she sensed an even larger challenge waiting to rise. Because if the community started to open their arms to her, would she have the strength to keep them open? Suddenly, she felt the weight of the past looming. What if they discovered her old choices and rejected her all over again? That thought sent a chill down her spine. With the possibility of real connection glimmering before her, Clara took a deep breath. This was her chance, but the toughest battles weren't just between her and the townsfolk. The hardest part would be facing herself. Would she be able to let go of old fears, and finally let in the love she craved? Only time would tell. Clara stood at the center of the gathering, her heart thumping like a drum in the silence that followed Sarah's challenge. She felt both vulnerable and empowered. The weight of expectation pressed down on her, a mixture of anticipation and dread swirling within her. Could she truly prove herself to these people who had witnessed her facade for so long? "All right then," she said, looking at Sarah and the rest of the crowd. "Let's get started." A murmur of interest rippled through the group. Clara could feel their eyes watching her, some skeptical, others beginning to show hope. She took a deep breath, glancing at Ethan, who was watching her with wide, trusting eyes. He was her anchor in this storm, reminding her of everything she wanted to fight for. Jack stepped forward, picking up on her silent call for support. "So, what's the first step?" he asked, his voice encouraging. Clara appreciated him for not letting the tension crush her spirit. "I think we should plan a community clean-up day," Clara proposed, her voice stronger than she felt. There's south the park by the community center that needs some attention. If everyone pitches in, it'll show that we care about our environment and each other. Sarah nodded thoughtfully, a little surprise flickering across her face. That could work, she admitted. But that's just a start. It's not enough to just tidy up. We need to do something meaningful that connects us. Clara felt a spark of inspiration. What if we combined it with a food drive? People can donate non-perishables while we work. She thought of the single mothers in the area, collecting cans from friendly neighbors who do want to join in. Not bad, Sarah replied, her expression lightening. But it's going to take a lot of work to pull off. Are you ready for that? Clara squared her shoulders. I am, she said. What's the worst that could happen? People might not come? But deep down, she feared another kind of rejection, the kind that would split her heart even wider. As they began to brainstorm, Clara felt a warmth growing around her, tightening into an unexpected camaraderie. There were ideas flying, excitement bubbling up like fizz in a soda can. Suddenly, they were planning not just for the park but for something much bigger, a community event filled with compassion. Let us call it Hearts United, Ethan suggested, his face lighting up, and Clara couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. Setting a date for next month, they outlined plans to get flyers printed, arrange collection bins, and even coordinate with local businesses for donations. Clara found herself laughing with Sarah as they shared stories and ideas. The hostility that had been so palpable only moments ago began to ebb. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't just about proving herself but building something strong, something real. As dusk settled, promising a tableau of stars above, Clara paused for a moment, taking it all in. It seemed like the doubt began to wear off, and little by little, people were opening their hearts. But deep inside her, the old fears lingered, creeping back. What if she messes this up? What if they saw her as a failure once again? Just then, a warm hand touched her shoulder. She turned to see Jack, his smile a comforting balm. You're doing great, Clara. They see the real you now. Her heart swelled a little, and she knew this was her chance. She had to muster the courage to keep moving forward, to keep peeling away those layers of doubt, even if the journey wouldn't be easy. As the last light of day faded, leaving them under the shadowy embrace of twilight, Clara made a silent vow to herself. She wouldn't just hide behind her past anymore. This was her moment to shine, to lift others in the process. But just as the excitement settled, a worried glance from Sarah caught her attention. Wait, what if we need more than this community event to truly bring everyone together? What about our neighbor, Mrs. Avery? I heard she's been struggling and no one really knows. Clara looked at the crowd, a wave of uncertainty crashing over her. What if this was only the beginning of something much more complicated? Would the shadows of their lives bring them down before they even reached the light? The question lingered heavily in the air, and Clara was left wondering if she had the strength to not just lead, but to heal, not just the community's wounds, but her own. Clara's heart raced as she processed Sarah's concern. The thought of Mrs. Avery, struggling alone, twisted something deep within her. It was more than just about a community event. Clara realized they needed to build connections that would last, to create a web of support that could catch anyone in distress. We should reach out to her, Clara said, her voice edging toward a whisper. If she is struggling, maybe we make that part of our mission. It's more than just cleaning up. It's about checking in on each other. Sarah's eyes brightened, the worry melting slightly away. You mean like a neighborhood watch combined with our event? Exactly. Clara nodded, a thrill of excitement bubbling within her. We could create a resource list who is available to help with errands, who can provide meals, things like that. If we can show that we're here for one another, it could change everything. This could really work, Jack chimed in, his enthusiasm infectious. We need to show people that they're not alone anymore. Encouraged by their support, Clara felt as if she were finally shedding her old skin, stepping into her truest sense of self. And just like that, they had turned doubt into flourishing ideas. Clara could already picture their community living in unity, lifting each other when challenges cropped up. But just as the atmosphere grew lighter, The echo of a child's laughter rang out from nearby, sending a chill through her. It reminded her too vividly of the carefree days when she was just a kid, before everything shifted. What if those memories haunted her path forward? Clara? Ethan's small voice broke through her thoughts, drawing her back. Can we help Mrs. Avery together? I want to help. His eager innocence washed over her like sunshine, grounding her again. Of course, Ethan. We'll all help. We'll bring her dinner, maybe even invite her to the event. The group rallied, each person's voice ringing in encouragement. As ideas flowed about meal preparations and visits, Clara noticed the shift all around her. It was more than just a gathering now. It was beginning to feel like a family, one they were creating together. Yet, despite their bubbling energy, Clara felt a dark weight tugging at her gut. What if helping each other wasn't enough? What if the help they offered wasn't welcomed, or worse, it only reminded others of their loneliness? Days passed, and through every gathering, the question echoed louder: we need each other, but how to truly reach them, to touch their hearts without breaking their defenses? Clara found herself pulling Jack aside one afternoon after a flurry of planning. What if we mess this up? What if we storm in and Mrs. Avery doesn't respond how we hope? He rested a hand on her arm, expression serious yet gentle. It'll be okay, Clara. Just be honest. Offer real support. People see through facades, especially when they're hurting. Just give them warmth, and it will come back, trust me. In those moments, Clara understood. It was about vulnerability, being open, lingering in the uncomfortable. The journey was sown with moments of genuine connection, even if it was messy. The event day dawned clear and bright, and she felt a blend of excitement and fear. They had planned meticulously, decorated the park, and collected a trove of food. Yet the knot in her stomach tightened as she realized today was a test. What if no one showed up? Would her budding connection with the community crumble back to dust, a reminder of her past failures? That lingering question echoed as they set up, but before she could spiral down that path, the first families appeared smiling, carrying items to donate. Clara's heart lifted, and she stepped forward, ready to greet them. But as conversations bloomed around her, she spotted a lone figure peering from the edge of the park, Mrs. Avery, standing hesitantly under the fading sun. Clara felt her chest constrict. This was the moment. Would she reach out? Taking a deep breath, Clara marched toward Mrs. Avery, heart pounding. She had to take this chance. Would her courage break the barrier standing between them? The air ignited with possibility and uncertainty. Clara just hoped she had the strength to bring the light they all desperately needed. Clara slowed her pace, absorbing the sight of Mrs. Avery. The older woman looked so fragile standing there, her hands clasped tightly around her sweater. There was a hint of vulnerability in her posture, a half-hearted attempt to blend into the background. Clara felt a jolt of determination. She couldn't let this moment slip away. Mrs. Avery! Clara called, forcing warmth into her voice. Would you like to join us? We're all here to celebrate our community, and we would love to have you. The older woman's gaze flicked up, surprise painting her features with a mix of hope and fear. For an instant, Clara thought she saw a struggle, the desire to connect battling the instinct to retreat. With each passing second, Clara felt fear clawing back at her, the question resurfacing, what if she didn't want to be a part of this? But just as doubt began to creep in, Clara closed the distance between them, her own heart racing. You know, she continued gently, Ethan and I were talking about bringing dinner to you. Maybe we could have a meal together? Mrs. Avery's lips trembled slightly, her wide eyes glistening with unshed tears. You would do that? Her voice was barely a whisper, thick with sentiment. Absolutely, Clara replied earnestly, feeling a swell of emotion within her. We are in this together. You are part of our community. That simple declaration seemed to crack through some barrier in Mrs. Avery's heart. Clara witnessed the moment as if it were unfolding in slow motion. The woman straightened up, colors returning to her cheeks. The weight of solitude lifted, even if just for a moment. I've been so overwhelmed since my husband passed, Mrs. Avery finally confessed, her voice quivering but resolute. It's been hard to feel like I belong anywhere anymore. Clara felt a pang of empathy, the ache of loneliness echoing in her own heart. You do belong, she assured, taking a brave step closer. Today is about friendship and support. Let us make new memories together. Mrs. Avery hesitated only briefly before nodding. All right. I would like that. With those 3 soft-spoken words, hope fluttered in Clara's chest, igniting her spirit. As they turned toward the gathering, Clara noticed others straining to glimpse the interaction. It was as if everyone could feel the tension melt away, the shadows over both women lifting just a bit. Families were exchanging smiles, laughter filled the air, and food was being shared freely. Clara felt as if each connection was a thread woven tightly into a larger tapestry, a vibrant, intricate design of community. She glanced at Jack, who gave her an encouraging nod, then back at Ethan, who was already excitedly waving hello to everyone. See? He chirped, tugging at Clara's sleeve. It's just like you said, it's like a family. With Mrs. Avery moving alongside her, Clara felt like every step created its own heartbeat, pulsing with renewed energy around them. They approached a table laden with food, and Clara became mesmerized by the simplicity of it all, the spread of colorful dishes, the laughter of children darting between adults. For the first time, it dawned on her that vulnerability might be the very thread that kept them together. But even as joy bubbled up in her, an apprehension nagged at the back of her mind. Was this just the beginning? Clara could sense that while they had taken a significant step in bringing people together, deeper issues lay beneath the surface. What about the others, those who still stayed hidden in the shadows? As Clara engaged with the crowd, her heart swelled with hope and excitement for what was unfolding. Yet, just as powerful were the questions swirling within her. How would she reach those who were still alone, those who craved connection but feared rejection? With every laugh and shared story echoing in the air, the possibilities felt endless. Still, Clara turned one last time to glance at Mrs. Avery, who was slowly letting her surroundings envelop her. Clara knew that pushing through was only the start. There were uncharted waters ahead, risks yet to take, connections yet to forge. Could they truly foster the closeness they all needed? Clara dared to dream, stepping fully into the unknown. Would she uncover the deeper truths that would bond them even more? As the sun began to set, the colors brightening the sky, Clara realized this moment was only the beginning, but what lay ahead could change everything. The moment Clara turned back to the celebration, she felt a wave of warmth wash over her. Laughter echoed around her, a beautiful harmony that pierced through the previous tension. With Mrs. Avery beside her, the older woman surveyed the scene, her eyes widening with wonder. Clara couldn't help but smile. That glimmer of hope she had seen in Mrs. Avery's eyes now sparkled fiercely. Look at all of them, Clara said, gesturing toward the families mingling and the children chasing fireflies. It's like a little world of joy, isn't it? Mrs. Avery nodded, her lips curling upward as she took a step closer. I've missed moments like this, she admitted, the tremor in her voice replaced by a newfound strength. It's easy to feel like you're just drifting when you're alone. Just then, a child zipped past them, giggling uncontrollably, and Clara felt a ripple of laughter spread through the gathering as mothers called after their playful offspring. It felt so alive, so authentic. Could you share a story with me? Clara asked, wanting to know more about Mrs. Avery, the woman who had lived through so much. Something fun from your past? Mrs. Avery appeared thoughtful, her eyes softening as she delved into memories. Well, she began, her voice growing steadier, there was a time when my husband and I tried to cook a special dinner for our anniversary. It went terribly wrong. Clara leaned in closer, captivated by the playful spark that lit Mrs. Avery's face. Tell me everything. With each word, Clara painted a picture in her mind, the smell of burnt garlic, the flour-covered floor, and a romance that had built in the chaos. She could hear the joy in Mrs. Avery's laughter, and it was beautiful. For the first time, Clara felt like she could sense the woman's spirit, not just the shells they built for protection, but the vibrant life within. As the evening unfolded, other community members started to notice the bond forming between Clara and Mrs. Avery. Voices began to soften, neighbors exchanged glances, and slowly, a few drifted closer, drawn by an invisible thread of connection that Clara had begun to weave. Jack ambled over with a plate piled high with food. "I know this might be a strange combo," he said cheerfully, "but try this potato salad. It's legendary." He offered it with a grin, and Mrs. Avery laughed, her initial trepidation cracking fully open. "I have to share my secret too, then," she replied. "I used to make award-winning cookies before." The word hung between them, untouched by melancholy. It didn't need to be said. It was an acknowledgment of the losses that lived alongside the joy. Just then, Clara noticed another face lingering at the edge of the gathering. Cora, a quiet, reclusive woman known for barely leaving her home, stood several feet away, her eyes searching for a connection. Clara's heart skipped a beat. "Excuse me a moment," she murmured to Mrs. Avery before stepping away. As she approached Cora, Clara felt the weight of her earlier resolve. "Hi, Cora! We'd love to have you join us," she called out, her voice welcoming. "We're all just sharing stories and food. It's really wonderful. You spark up this space just by being here." Cora's expression was a mixture of surprise and hesitation. "I don't want to intrude." Clara took a deep breath and offered an earnest smile. "It's not intruding at all. We're all friends here. I promise it's a safe space." The hesitation lingered like a reluctant shadow, but there was something different about the light in Clara's eyes. As if she were offering a lifeline. "Well, if you're sure," Cora began, and Clara saw the faintest flicker of hope ignite within her. With Mrs. Avery's laughter in the background, Clara felt the air grow heavy with anticipation. This wasn't just about one woman finding her place. It was about creating a community where every heart had space to breathe. Would Cora take that courageous step forward? Clara's heart raced. Each tick of the clock echoed her hopeful inquiry: could they all be brought together? The answer felt just within reach, but the journey was still unfolding. Clara could sense that tonight was just the start of something much bigger than herself. In that golden twilight, with connections waiting to take root, Clara stepped closer to Cora, holding her breath as they stood on the brink of possibility. What would come next could build a bridge for everyone hiding within the shadows. Cora took a hesitant step forward, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. Clara's warmth seemed to wrap around her like a comforting blanket. "You don't have to feel pressured," Clara reassured her, tilting her head slightly. "Just come say hi. Everyone's really nice." As if the universe aligned just right, Clara saw Cora's shoulders relax a little, the tightness easing that had kept her hidden for so long. The flicker of hope grew into a tender flame, igniting into something that might just fill the emptiness that often clouded her eyes. "Oh, all right," Cora said softly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. The moment felt monumental as Clara turned to lead her into the heart of the gathering. Suddenly, it was as if the air itself vibrated with excitement. Clara glanced back, and Mrs. Avery beamed at Cora, her expression a perfect blend of encouragement and empathy. Clara took note of how others began to turn, their gazes shifting toward Cora in welcome. It was an unspoken agreement, a community ready to embrace one more lost soul. Cora shuffled her feet but stayed close to Clara, her eyes darting around the vibrant crowd. Conversation swirled around them like a warm breeze, inviting and gentle. Jack caught sight of them and waved enthusiastically. "Hey, Cora, do you like potato salad?" he called out, determination lighting his eyes. There was laughter in his tone, a melody of carefree joy that seemed contagious. Cora's expression softened slightly as she replied almost shyly, I do. Then you must try mine," Jack replied, an infectious smile growing on his face. Clara could feel the transformation blossoming in Cora, each word layering a building block toward acceptance. The group began to ease back, forming a small circle as they shared stories. One by one, people introduced themselves, sharing snippets of their lives, their laughter bouncing off the trees. Clara felt an involuntary rush of gratitude. Including Cora in this moment was exactly what they all needed. As Jack recounted a recent mishap while camping, Clara caught sight of Mrs. Avery nudging Cora to share a little bit about herself. "Tell us about your garden," Mrs. Avery encouraged gently, a knowing twinkle in her eyes. Cora hesitated, fidgeting with her fingers, but slowly she began to speak. I have a small vegetable patch. Hybrid tomatoes, which I love to grow. Her voice trembled slightly, but the warmth from the group created a cocoon around her, allowing her to relax as they listened. What a delight! Clara exclaimed, her heart swelling with pride for Cora's bravery. I'd love to see it sometime. Cora blinked, taken aback by the genuine interest. Really? She asked, surprise coloring her voice. Yes. When the time is right. Maybe you can show us how to garden. Clara kept her tone light yet hopeful. Just then, one of the children, a little girl with wild curls and dirt-stained knees, ran up to Cora. You could plant the flowers too. Then it'll be even more pretty. Clara felt everyone share a breathless moment, drawn together by this innocent proposal. Cora knelt down to meet the girl's gaze, her heart swelling in ways she never thought possible. I think I'd like that a lot, she said, her voice steadying as if she were finally finding her place in this unfolding tapestry of community. And when she smiled, when she truly allowed herself to just be in that moment, it lit up her face. But as the night continued to twinkle with laughter and shared stories, Clara couldn't shake off a strange feeling, a weary tug at her heart, as if shadows loomed with unexpected memories. Why did she feel a sense that this connection came with further challenges? While joy blossomed around them, Clara wrestled with the truth lurking just beneath the surface. What if this fragile thread of connection brought hidden stories, ones that needed careful revealing? And what if Cora's story, like Mrs. Avery's, was interwoven with heartaches that still held their grip? As the first notes of music began to twirl through the air, Clara's stomach knotted with anticipation for what lay ahead. The floor of possibilities felt like it was shifting beneath her feet. In that moment, Clara knew they were on the brink of something transformative. But could every heart withstand the truths yet to be unveiled? The music floated softly, mingling with the scent of barbecue and the crisp evening air. Laughter erupted nearby, a lovely melody that danced over Clara as she stood with Cora on the outskirts of the gathering. The circle of people around them began to sway and move in time to the rhythm, drawing them in with an easy charm. Would you like to dance? Clara asked Cora, her smile bright with encouragement. Cora's gaze fell to the ground, a hint of doubt creeping back. I don't really know how. That's okay. Just follow my lead, Clara said, her voice light, like a fluttering breeze. She reached out a hand, and after a moment of hesitation, Cora took it, her skin warm against Clara's palm. As they stepped into the center of the gathering, Cora's heartbeat quickened. The music swelled, and Clara began to move gently, guiding Cora's shy, stilted steps. The others in the circle cheered them on, creating an atmosphere of warmth and acceptance. Each laugh, each encouraging cheer, wrapped around Cora like a lifesaver tossed to someone adrift. Slowly, Cora's apprehension melted away. Almost without realizing it, she found herself swaying with the rhythm. Clara beamed, her heart swelling as she watched Cora's face brighten, the initial fear giving way to the beauty of the moment. See? You're doing great! Clara cheered, clapping her hands as they moved. Just then, a familiar voice called out from the sidelines. Come on, Cora! Show us your moves! It was Jack again, his bright grin infectious. Cora laughed lightly, and with that sound, it felt like the weight of the world lifted from her shoulders. She began to twirl, a laugh spilling out, the sound pure and joyful, a sound she hadn't let free in a long, long time. Look at her go! Clara laughed along with the crowd, her heart dancing at the sight before her. The little girl from earlier, now mesmerized, joined in, jumping around Cora, twirling in a whirlwind of laughter and innocence. But amid the joy, the knot in Clara's stomach tightened again. This joy was real, yet it felt precarious. She couldn't ignore the lingering weight that seemed to shadow Cora's laughter. What was hidden behind those bright smiles? As if sensing Clara's worry, Cora stepped closer, catching her breath. I didn't think I could, but this is nice. Really nice, she said, her cheeks slightly flushed. Clara took the moment to look into Cora's deep eyes, seeing a flicker of vulnerability there. I'm so proud of you, Cora. Normal can be beautiful, and you are so much stronger than you know. Cora smiled, the kind of smile that lit up her face, but it faltered just a bit. Thank you, but I wonder if I can hold on to this feeling. Before Clara could respond, Mrs. Avery approached, smiling, but there was a hint of concern in her eyes. Cora, dear, we're so happy to see you out here. It's wonderful to watch you bloom in this community. Bloom, Cora repeated softly, as if she was tasting the word, the weight of it settling in. Clara could see layers of doubt behind Cora's gently spoken words, a fear of slipping back into shadows. Just keep sharing your garden with us, and we'll help you grow, Clara said, her heart racing as the truth of those words hit her. The little girl leaned closer to them, tugging on Cora's sleeve. Can I help plant your flowers one day? She beamed. Cora's face softened as she looked down at the girl. I'd like that, she whispered, her voice strong this time, resonating with an uncharacteristic warmth. Just then, the music shifted into a gentle ballad, one that punctuated the poignant moment. Clara's eyes flicked between the little girl, Cora, and the crowd. She knew the melody was changing, building in a way that hinted at more to come. An excitement bubbled in her, but so did nervousness, as though they were standing on the edge of something monumental. What would happen when Cora was faced with her past? Clara could feel the fragile thread connecting them, straining but resilient, as they stood amidst the laughter, the music, and the dawning possibility of real connection. Tonight would leave its mark. But would it be one of beauty or pain? Clara couldn't help but wonder what tomorrow would bring. And as the last notes of the song lingered, Clara felt the weight of untold stories pressing in, each heartbeat echoing with unanswered questions. Could Cora truly open up and trust this community? What secrets still lay beneath the surface, waiting to be revealed? In the soft glow of twilight, as the music mellowed, Clara's heart raced for what lay ahead. Moments earlier had offered glimmers of connection, but now the air pulsed heavy with unspoken truths. Cora, Mrs. Avery, and Ethan stood close, smiling with an ease that felt fragile yet true. Yet Clara's heart twisted with worry, each joyous laugh echoed with feelings of unfinished business, secrets lurking like shadows. Cora, she called gently, drawing her friend's attention. The crowd buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like they were in their own private world. Can we talk about everything? About how we really feel? Cora hesitated, her cheeks turning rosy. I've never been good at sharing my worries, she murmured, glancing away. But something deeper flickered in her eyes, a yearning for connection that matched Clara's own. That's okay, Clara replied, her voice steady. We're all learning together. Maybe we can find strength in sharing those worries. Amid the fading sounds of laughter and joy, inspiration sparked in Clara's heart. This night, this gathering, had to mean more than just festivity. It could become a turning point, a call for genuine connection among all of them. Everyone, can we gather closer? Clara raised her voice, seeking to bring the crowd in. Jack nudged Ethan playfully and led them toward Clara, and one by one, families and friends shifted toward her, curiosity dancing across their faces. As Clara looked around, she felt the pulse of the community thrumming through her, one big heart ready to connect. I'm so proud of what we've created tonight, a gathering of warmth and acceptance, she began, her words flowing confidently. But I want us to dig deeper. Let us be real. What challenges do we face when we seek to bridge the gaps between us? A wave of murmurs passed through the crowd. Clara watched as people pondered her question, each face telling a story of struggle and resilience. Then a voice emerged from the back, uncertain but brave. It's hard to trust again, said a woman Clara had seen around town, her eyebrows knitted together. I lost my job and felt abandoned, like no one cared. Another nodded. And when you're alone, it's easy to keep quiet and hide. You forget how to reach out. Clara felt tears stinging the corners of her eyes. This was exactly what she had hoped for, an outpouring of vulnerability that could weave them together. You're all so brave for sharing your hearts, she urged, her voice thick with emotion. We have the power to lift each other when things get tough, just like we're doing tonight. Let us keep those dialogues open. Cora stepped forward, her voice quivering but undeniably firm. I used to think I belonged nowhere, she said, her eyes glistening with emotion. But tonight, I've realized this community can be my garden, a place where I can grow. A kaleidoscope of murmurs enveloped Cora as her words struck a chord. The crowd started responding, one after another, opening themselves up, sharing fears, dreams, pain, but most importantly, a resounding acceptance for each other. I'm here too, Clara echoed, feeling a wave of warmth wrap around her as if they were cocooning her in understanding. Together we can tackle these challenges, let us stand side by side. As the night deepened, each shared story became a thread, weaving a tapestry of unity born in the heart of Maplewood. By the end of the evening, Clara felt unshakable hope fill the air. It was tangible, reverberating through each interaction, each understanding glance. They sat together on blankets beneath the stars, laughter intertwined with conversations filled with dreams for a better tomorrow. Clara curled close to Ethan, his tiny arm wrapping around her, a steadfast bond forming. You did it, Mom, he whispered, beaming with pride. You brought everyone together. She squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with gratitude for every face in the gathering, each an essential note in this newfound harmony. Together they would rise, face the challenges, and carve a new path ahead. As the stars twinkled above, Clara looked around, filled with a sense of home she had yearned for so long. This is just the beginning for all of us, she thought, as a smile broke through, radiant and genuine. Their journey would continue, but tonight had laid the foundation, a community united, poised to embrace love, vulnerability, and growth. Together. Now was the time for action. You need to subscribe now so you won't miss our next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support for this journey we're all on. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and encourage others to join in. And don't forget to comment your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming transformation. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful story of love and community. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us grow this beautiful family together.